Folks, we do have some time for questions, a little bit of conversation. Maybe we'll look to Joanne and see if anything has popped up in the chat. And if not, I always like asking questions. I will ask away.
No, I do not see any questions. Just going to bring up
I
all
will start asking some
writers
questions
so
then.
you can see them.
And if they show up, Joanne, just say the word.
I will.
Okay, well, I'll start with a question for you, Melanie. I feel like I have a lot of different things I could ask you. Interesting to me that you're now studying, what is it, oral history, because your work does have this very sort of conversational oral storytelling vibe. At the same time as what you're doing with sound, I think like there's a lot of very dense things going on at the level of sound. So I don't know if you could talk about either of two things. One is it difficult to sort of get that conversational flow and also those sort of those sound musics going on at the same time? The other would be, are these poems connected to the work that you're doing in that PhD? And you could tell us about that if you like. So whichever way you want to go.
Okay, yeah. I'd say they come pretty easily, like take pieces of conversation and put them into a poem. Like you can kind of, it's the same way you get like inspiration for a poem to begin with. Like it's like an image or a line, and it just slots into something, and then you build around it. And I tend to build very sound dense landscapes around those other words. I can't really help it. I'm not trying. I think I just read too much canonical poetry in my youth, so but I do like music in poetry. I think it's nice. I like philosophies of music in poetry. Yeah, so that I think answers the first question. And the second one quickly, yes, it does. I've always kind of asked questions and written oral histories into my poetry. Since like my first book has a lot of poems that are based on, people and experiences I've never had and or met. And yeah, so I think that that's always been a part is like I always have to weave history into it some way to, I don't know, like it's too much if it's just my own subjectivity. It's like a bit becomes a bit drab. So that kind of lightens it and makes it more interesting to me, a poem. Yeah. It's coming. Yeah, the PhD is like something that I had it first and then I worked it into the PhD basically. So now I'm doing oral history and in a more formal way, and people take me more seriously now when I'm asking questions, which is great because some of my relatives, if I'm just rolling up to their house and asking them unending questions, they're not as likely to answer. So now I have a formal, I've got forms and title, so it really helps. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for the question, Sue.
I could ask more, but I think we should carry on.
Yes,
I
let's
think it's
carry
really
on.
interesting that people want to talk more when there are forms involved.
Yeah.
What else? Let's see. I'm just going to go in order here. So, having run you, I was thinking about, well, I am a poet, so I was actually thinking about how close your story is to poetry in some ways and the way that it treats time. Um, in that we sort of keep coming back to the same moment, the same moment, the same moment. And the storytelling is happening in these little narrative bursts. So I don't know, could you talk about how you got the idea to sort of keep revisiting this one moment and bring us back and back and back?
Yeah, it's funny you mention like that it kind of sounds like poetry because I was struggling with the story for a very long time. And my desire was to use repetition eloquently, and I wasn't finding the right form for it. And a friend suggested, who's also an editor, she suggested that I should read more poetry because that would give me more inspiration and stop reading like fiction all the time. So, and I kind of read the forms of like pantoum, but also more South Asian forms of ghazal, and it really inspired me. And I realized that okay, like a lot of poets come back to the same line, and then they meander and they come back to the same line, and that is a structure I could borrow for my story. And yeah, and I think once I had that eureka moment, I think the story kind of fell into place for me. So it is poetry that I should thank for the story. uh, yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up and caught that. Thank you, Sue.
That's fascinating to me. Now I'm wondering like how far you can push it, because in a poem, we can deal with a lot of repetition, I think.
Yeah.
Like how I'm curious about how far that could be pushed.
Yeah, another influence was Peter Handke's Reputation. For those of you who might have read it, it's yeah, again something that really kind of pushed me to think about repetition more seriously.
Mhm.
Like it's often looked down in fiction, right? That like do not repeat yourself, especially in a short story, do not repeat yourself. But
Yeah.
then if I want to repeat myself, how do I make it work, right? So yeah, thank you. Yeah.
It reads very well then with that repetition. It's a good one to read aloud.
Yeah.
Joanne, anything coming through on the chat before I keep going?
No.
Not yet.
No, just go ahead.
Okay, I'll keep rolling. Raul, you already said like quite a few things that were interesting points to ask more about. I don't know, can you talk more about the we point of view? Because it feels like that is a loaded point of view to pick up, because there's always that question of like, how do you presume, who is the we, and how dare you speak for more than yourself, et cetera, et cetera. Tell me more about the we.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were gonna ask that question because I'm like, I haven't really thought about why I've done that. I've done it here and there in poems, and I hope it doesn't sound like too grand or pompous or something. I have been trying to get away from the I and like figure out ways of like of kind of avoiding the lyric I in poems and kind of seeing what else is possible. Yeah, the we, I mean, I'm trying to like play with it in a way that it it can be me, but it can be something sort of like a little ghostly or strange, that I don't have to like actually feel the way that this kind of strange amorphous crowd is feeling, and it kind of maybe opens up some more possibility. Yeah, I don't know if I can say more than that. I've been thinking about poems that sort of have like a broad reach, but still sound like something kind of unique and peculiar. So I think that's where it's coming from. Yeah. Yeah, I think I have to do a little more thinking to fully know why I'm approaching it. But I have been like kind of consciously like avoiding the I and seeing what else is possible. Yeah.
I'm pretty interested in the possibilities of the we too, so it's striking for me. Although I'm also, quite aware of the possibility of alienating folks, but I do not think that happens in your poems, to be clear.
Yeah.
And the thing about points, there's a clear we there, right? It's everybody who has ever collected points.
Right.
Yeah, and so there's a sense of solidarity. It's almost like us against the points.
That's right.
Or
Yeah.
us against the machine in the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also kind of undercut in a certain way, like we don't quite understand ourselves, so we like the we in the poem is like a bit confused and a bit like doesn't it's not getting something, right? So hopefully that sort of it undercuts it a little.
That's good. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like I'll want to interview you as well, but do you have something have you used the we, and have you tried something that works?
I have used the we. I'm actually making my way back to I, in fact. Yeah, I used the we because like sometimes I did want to say something that was not just about me and that felt like it was about more than me, like about experiences that are not just my experiences, but that I strongly suspect many other people could imagine themselves into or could identify with. Yeah, and I was worried about the I being sort of too solipsistic and self-involved, but I'm now learning ways in which the I might not be.
That's great. Yeah.
Thanks for
I feel like I'm going to come back to the I. Like we all do. We're humans in a body. But
that's right. Here we be.
Yeah.
Sue, I just noticed that Melanie has her hand raised. I know you have a question for Christine as well, but just wanted to make sure you saw Melanie as well.
Sorry, yes, I was just politely waiting in queue until you using the hand feature. No, I just wanted to jump in on the question of we, because yeah, there are endless debates about this. Like I just had this debate in my own writing group, having used a we and been challenged politely. But I'll just say, like, in your poem, Raoul, like I really enjoy the we. Like you said, it's ghostly, and I feel like it's got a kind of like weird, almost like futuristic, speculative. Like it's like a we, but it's like it feels like a speculative self or something in this poem. It's a very interesting we. Like I think you could fight the other we camp that says there's no collective humanity here. You can't do that in poetry, you know? I get it. I do get why we don't want to like overuse the we, flatten people's experiences, but there's some possibilities with it too. So I think you've achieved it. So I appreciated that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks for jumping in and enriching the conversation there, Melanie.
There's another question in the chat now that also speaks to the same question of we. So, Mary, would you like to read your question? Would you like to unmute and do that? Or I can read it if you'd rather not.
Hi, yeah, I can unmute it. Basically, I was asking, I'm not going to read the question. Do you, any of you writers and poets, do you find it challenging to move from we to I and perhaps back and forth, and particularly to do so in the same text? How do you approach that?
Interesting riff on the question. Anybody?
Yeah, I don't think I've done it in the same text. So that's curious. But yeah, I guess I'll switch into different modes for different poems. And sometimes I've like converted well, actually maybe it's been more like a you that I've turned into an I. But maybe sometimes there's been a we that's turned into an I if I wanted to bring it closer, or I was feeling that risk that maybe Melanie was alluding to, that people would really, I don't know, come down on, that I'll make it more intimate or more like, oh, this is really just me speaking, and I'll own that. So yeah,
that's a nice point about the intimacy of the I.
Yeah.
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 Anyone else take that? Has anyone else switched from I to we? Or back, or vice versa, within one work? Yeah.
I think I might have done it recently, like, yeah, starting. Oh, of course, like people always flag that as an inconsistency, so you have to like kind of like that would just be, that's like just workshop 101. You're gonna be you're gonna be marked down for that. Like you have to really earn it, and I'm not sure if I did in that case, like to be to be continued on that one. But I've started using just to do something different. I've started using the you as I. You know what I mean? So like you walk down the street, like instead of like I walk down the street. I find that that's like just a comfortable amount of distance from, yeah, I don't of course, we'll all have our eras of like not enjoying the I anymore because it gets tired. And yeah, the U has been an interesting way to like still talk about my own experience, but like yeah, give it some comfortable distance while still being intimate. So yeah, I'm not sure if anyone else would like to continue answering that. Maybe the other two writers.
I've never used we, so I don't really have that experience, but I've used a second person, so you, but I've never switched it, like in the same text from you to I, or you to, like, yeah, I don't do that very well, I guess. So yeah, someday I think that this conversation can be an inspiration to write a story with a we point of view, I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking this is, if nothing else, like a challenge and a possibility. Christine, it was occurring to me as we've been talking about all this that your piece is really about an I sort of coming to find themselves in a we. So it seems right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about that too. The ways that I framed their narrative with the snowflakes and the research to kind of build that framework out without, like, I guess, saying it outright. I'm really interested in naming and narrating and meaning making and how time changes those things, right? So, like in a lot of my work. So I think I can imagine time, like from the point of, I mean, most of my books are poetry, so I'm also a poet, but I can imagine a poem where you would go back and forth with I and we because of time, like shifting in and out, especially if like other characters are evoked, right? And I like cross a collection. I can imagine that happening because time really shifts that or allows one to shift that. But in Raoul's piece, like I was really thinking of the we as like some subset, imaginative subset of like people, points, people, like, so it wasn't, I didn't think of it necessarily as like human, like everyone, but like here's this selection of the we, and it's more than one person, and that felt right to me. I mean, I received that tonight as a right move. It was good. I really love those poems. So
We could go on. That is a full plate for us tonight. So we'll leave it there. I'll say thank you once again, Melanie, Abhimanyu, Raoul, and Christine. So beautiful variety of work. Happy to have it in the issue. Always thanks to Becky. We already said thanks, but more thanks to Becky. And thanks to Ian and Aaron and Grace, the Fiddlehead folks who make sure that these issues keep finding their way out into the world. Thank you so much for your work. And that's it. It's evening here. Have a good evening. I don't know, it's probably good afternoon and evening for some afternoon. Thanks for taking time, everybody who's here to gather and listen to some work. And
thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone. That was really fun break from work.
It was great.
it was amazing to be part of this.